What's going on, guys? We're back. We're back and we're better than ever.
We are better than ever.
So Dean and I, we just went to Washington, D.C.
We were just in America's capital.
Yeah, because we were supposed to watch President Trump get inaugurated.
That was the plan, but then things got moved. It was actually the second inauguration to be held indoors, second to Ronald Reagan in 1985. Yep. And they say it was because the temperatures. There has been speculation about security after the assassination attempts.
We don't know. But it flipped our trip upside down.
I'm not important enough to find out. But nonetheless, we were still in the city for the hustle and the bustle, and it was quite the experience. You've got homeless people trying to sell you Donald Trump T-shirts for $5. There was more red hats than I've ever seen in my entire life.
A lot of people.
A lot of people. And the contrast between 2017 and 2025 was definitely present.
Yeah, we didn't get to experience any of it. We didn't get into the victory rally. The line was literally miles long. We didn't get into the inauguration ceremony in the Capital One Arena because the line was forming the day before, and Washington was supposed to be super cold, and we just didn't want it bad enough. So we watched the Bills game in our hotel room and went home after that.
When Drew says miles long, he's not lying. We actually walked this line. We never found the front or the back, but we found somewhere in the middle of this line, and we ended up walking about 40 minutes just trying to find the back. We eventually found the end of the first line, and then there was the overflow line. So after walking 20 minutes through the overflow line, we had enough. We're all hungry. It's cold. It's windy. We're not getting in clearly. It's too many people. Let's just call it. So we found a random guy in line, and we asked,
Just curious.
Yeah, just curious. And he got a little defensive, which was kind of weird. Like, he was a little standoffish, like we were trying to pull him out of line or something.
Yeah, like we were going to steal his spot, like it even mattered.
But I asked him, how long have you been in line, sir? And he told me 2.5 hours.
And this guy's about 3 miles from the stadium.
Yeah, and then he told me that the line goes about 10 blocks that way. All right, that's all we need to know. Thanks for your time.
Yep. So
we called it.
We basically went to Washington, got fast food for dinner, watched the Bills game, and then went home.
We did see the Capitol, though.
We did see the Capitol.
Which was pretty cool.
It would have been cool to see the White House, but we just were not into it at that point.
No, we just
wanted to get home.
And everything was fenced off, too, so the odds of you getting to the White House were zero, probably.
Yeah, I mean, there was so much security. The Army was everywhere. Police officers were everywhere. Yep. Roads were blocked off. It was actually crazy in D.C. But it would have been really cool to see, but no such luck.
Maybe next time.
Maybe next time. But
nonetheless, there is some pretty cool history behind inaugurations and the ceremony and all that. And I believe this was actually the 60th. So
it was. And if you're like me asking the same question, why is this the 60th and not the 47th? Because there's 47 presidents. Some of them served 2 terms. Got inaugurated twice.
And there's been assassinations and folks dying in office and all that sort of stuff. So it adds up to about 60. But
yeah.
I know some people out there probably think that President Trump has the longest inauguration speech. That is actually false.
You're wrong.
William Henry Harrison, our 9th president of the United States, has the longest inauguration speech at about, 8,445 words?
Yep. He spoke for, I think, an hour and 40 minutes or something
longer
crazy.
Than that. I think it was about 2 hours, 40 minutes.
It was something crazy, but he was in the cold outside. He didn't wear a coat.
Yeah, he was raw dogging it.
He didn't wear a hat because he wanted to prove to all of his haters that he was tough.
Show him what the wigs were made of.
Yeah, show him what that wig party was all about.
And then he died 30 days in office.
Yeah, he was president. I think we wrote it down somewhere. Like 30 days, 12 hours, and 30 minutes or something.
Yeah, it wasn't long at all.
He was our shortest term president.
And then this doesn't have much to do with the inauguration, but John Tyler was the 10th president. He's the guy that succeeded William Henry Harrison. And up until recently, if not still, he had grandchildren alive because he had kids in his 70s, and then his kids had kids in their 70s, and then those kids were around up until recently. So it's kind of funny how that works.
Yeah. And no, a lot of you guys are like, okay, so that's sweet. William Henry Harrison had the longest speech. Who had the shortest speech? That's G-Wash, dude. George Washington, his second inauguration speech was 135 words. And he basically just said, yeah, I'm back. We're going to do a good job. That's it.
Yep.
He wasn't known for his speaking. But
also worth noting with WHH, he had a sentence in his inauguration speech that went on for, I think, about 750 words.
Yeah.
He was just going off.
Yeah. And, I mean, it's regarded as one of the worst inauguration speeches in history. Just because it was so long.
So long and so uninteresting.
Yeah. But, you know, there's actually a picture of William Henry Harrison out there. I think he was our first photographed president, but nobody knows where it is.
Lost in history.
It's lost in history.
Probably sitting in someone's attic right now.
Yeah. I think there's a picture of the picture, but nobody has the actual picture. Well, somebody has it, but we don't actually know. Yeah, pull it up, Brandon. We don't know where it is.
I've seen contradicting things. I've seen people say that this is a picture of the picture. I've seen people say that there was actually a portrait painted of him and there's a picture of that portrait. Who knows?
Who knows?
Who really knows?
But I'm pretty sure he was our first photographed president.
The first inauguration that was photographed with was James Buchanan back in 1856. Did you know that?
It's actually crazy.
And there's lore that John Wilkes Booth was at Abraham Lincoln's inauguration.
He was. You can see him in the picture, which is
kind
of crazy.
of crazy how that works. See, it says the photograph, much like its subject, had an unexpectedly short tenure. Harrison's inaugural portrait has since been lost to history, meaning that the oldest surviving photograph we have of an American president depicts a chief executive after his presidency, which I believe is Andrew Jackson. Why did I say Johnson?
Yeah,
Andrew Jackson.
I'm pretty sure. Actually, I do want to amend that. I'm pretty sure Jackson. Although, isn't there a picture of John Quincy Adams?
Oh yeah, there it is. All right, so never mind. It was John Quincy Adams who was the first.
Yeah, because he has that goofy look on his face, like he's about to get shot or something. He's at gunpoint. That's a scary picture.
That is a pretty scary picture, actually. We'll put it in the podcast. That's kind of terrifying.
That looks like a Halloween decoration.
Yeah, I don't like that. And then it was Andrew Jackson was photographed after.
Yeah, it was after his presidency. Andrew Jackson was a really cool president. He's actually Trump's favorite president is Andrew Jackson.
Which, looking back into history, him and Jackson share a lot of similarities with just how they were perceived and how they handled the office and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
There he is. Yeah, he looks washed.
He had seen a lot.
Yeah, no kidding.
He had seen a lot in his life. But yeah, that's the guy in our $20 bill right there.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was super cool. Like, we got to walk around and we saw the Capitol building, which, I mean, that's where all happens, man. Like, it's just cool. It's a cool part of history.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's actually a couple weeks ago, I was getting my hair cut, and I was talking to my barber, like, dude, who do you think cuts the president's hair? Do they just call in, do they call in someone, or do they have like an official White House guy? And what I was able to gather was that up until Obama, they kind of just had like somebody who did it, but Obama kind of broke that because he had a guy who would cut his hair even before he was president. And there's actually a picture that the guy has in his barbershop of him cutting Obama's hair.
That's pretty sweet.
It's pretty sweet. Like, I think Obama flew him in like once a week to cut his hair.
Nice.
And
that's pretty
think
sweet.
Ever since, they just kind of choose their.
I mean, you're the commander in chief. You're kind of like the man. Like, I suppose it's up to you who cuts your hair. What are they going to tell you? No, like.
Yeah, I mean it's up to you. Do what you want to do, I guess.
That's pretty sweet. And for all of our Buffalonians out here, they know that Obama actually visited Duff, so a popular wing spot around us. So that's pretty sweet. It is not my favorite wing spot, unfortunately. No. I wish it was. That'd be pretty cool.
I mean, it's just cool.
It's cool. They've got pictures in there. It's pretty sweet.
What's really interesting, too, is I was watching a couple weeks ago Jay Leno's Garage, and he was looking at the Beast, which is the presidential motorcade car.
Like, did they have the Beast?
Yeah.
In his garage?
Yeah, they didn't go inside of it, though.
I was going to say you're probably not allowed to.
No, but they were kind of talking about it. And one of the cool things that they mentioned was there's the presidential seal, and we'll put a picture of it. But around the presidential seal in the Beast is wood, and the wood comes from the last tree that George Washington planted that died in 2004. The last tree that died, they took that wood and they put it over the presidential seal in the Beast. So, yeah, there's a picture of the tree there that I think it was like a windstorm or something that took it down. And they took some of the wood that Washington planted and put it around the seal. So it's just cool. It's so sick, dude. I think, Brandon, if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see the inlay.
Well, there's all sorts of fascinating things with the presidency. Like, I know not everybody's a fan of this. Some people think it's boring, but man, I think it's fascinating. Even the little stuff, like favorite foods and ice creams, like Just stupid stuff.
Yeah, it's like, what? This is the leader of the free world, the most powerful man in the world. Like, this guy is responsible for everything.
And
Nukes,
for
economy, like
OG podcast listeners since last week, they know that number 46, Joseph Robinette Biden's favorite ice cream is chocolate chip, which he is not shy about.
No, he was very open about it.
Yeah, he didn't try and hide that.
To the Republicans that try and shut down the January 6th committee, he said, go get some chocolate chip. A riveting comeback from number 46.
I know that I don't know Donald Trump's favorite ice cream. I just know that he's a huge fan of McDonald's.
And he loves Diet Coke.
And Diet Coke. He actually had a Diet Coke button installed in the Oval Office.
Yeah. I think Biden had an ice cream button.
That's so funny.
I'm pretty sure he hit the button. I saw something a while ago where he hit the button and some ice cream just came to him.
Like, did someone bring it to him?
Yeah, I think so.
Nice. That's so cool. If I was the president, I would have something stupid like that too. Just, I don't know what mine would be though.
Like, I don't know what I'd probably get like
dude, cookie dough.
Meat shop. Like I think I would hire Willie full time.
Definitely cookie dough, I think.
Cookie dough would be good.
Or yeah, I would hire the folks over at the Depew Deli and have them bring me. U.S. President Joe Biden has installed an ice cream button in the White House so he can enjoy his favorite treat at any time of the day.
Dude, I would be abusing that button.
Left, right, or center, how could you not support that?
Yeah, that's great policy.
His predecessor, Donald Trump, had a Diet Coke button, which he pressed to summon a butler who brought him a single beverage on a silver tray.
That's insane.
Of course.
Hey, man, if you're the leader of the free world, you can do whatever you want.
It's just like Trump to have him bring it on a silver tray, too. Like Batman.
That's awesome.
That's so cool.
But yeah, so that was our trip to D.C. It was kind of a nothing burger, but it was cool to be in such a historical city and to look around. I mean, there was a bunch of security and police officers, so, we weren't worried about, like, crime or nothing.
No.
Just kind of roaming around doing our thing.
And it isn't even the fact that, we're huge fans of Trump or anything to be at this inauguration. It's more or less, at least for Drew and I, the history of it and seeing all the past presidents, because you've got Barack, Bill Clinton, you've got George W. Bush, you've got Joe Biden, Jimmy Carter. But
it would have been cool to see all of them in person, because that was kind of our hope. Like, doesn't matter where Obama stands or Biden or Trump or nothing. It's just, that's history, man. Like,
that's what I was looking forward to.
That's history. So it would have been really cool to see him, but maybe in 4 years we can go to the next one and it'll be cool, but who knows?
Hey, if you've made it this far, we really appreciate it. Thanks for listening to our podcast. And if you've made it this far, consider leaving us a 5-star review. You can do that by scrolling down whatever platform you're listening to. It helps us out quite a bit, and we don't look over it. We always really appreciate it. So go join the people who have already done it and help us out a little bit. Anyways, let's get back to it. All right. I think it's time for our next segment.
Comment-Tary.
All right. So there's this guy I follow on Instagram called Juan Cortez. Makes really nice videos. Kind of takes the hustle culture out of hustle culture. Actually, I wouldn't even put him in the hustle culture bracket. I think he's just a guy that puts...
You don't want to insult him.
No. He just a guy that puts good stuff out there, positive, good stuff. And I started following him a while ago, and Dee and I have talked about it a bunch this year. Like, we want to just go after it and explore things and just see what we can do this year. And this video, when I saw it, I'm like, okay, that's Comment-Tary. And we'll stitch it into the podcast so you guys can see exactly what we're looking at. But yeah, Brandon, you can roll it if you want. Basically saying, like,
Plan A was what everybody else does.
So yeah, Plan A, marry by 25, settle down, kids by 30, what everybody talks about. Or Plan B is life is short, go explore. And that's kind of what Dee and I have kind of found ourselves thinking about.
And I want to draw the contradiction. We're not saying not to get married and have kids and settle down. But for those of us out there who maybe don't have a relationship lined up, or aren't interested in a relationship right now, or don't want to settle down, or don't have a house, whatever situation you're in, it would behoove you. You like that? It would behoove you to go out there and experience as much as you can before more responsibilities occur in your life.
Yeah.
And I think that that's what needs to be drawn there.
Yeah.
Not don't get married. I, for one, really want to get married.
Same.
I, for one, really want kids, and I also really want to have a house one day. But for right now, as a 22-year-old man with none of those responsibilities at the moment,
Yeah.
why would this not be the time to go out and see things and explore a little bit?
Right. And that's kind of what we found ourselves thinking about. Is like, okay, well, we could sit around and, oh, I wish I had a girlfriend. I wish I had, $100,000 a year as a job. But that's all responsibility. Why don't we take the time now while we're still aiming towards that responsibility one day, but we don't have it just yet? Why don't we just go explore?
See things.
Go see things, do things, like, especially because we're both single at the moment. Like, we don't have to worry about that right now. We can just go do what we want to do.
Yeah. And you can, I mean, I've seen it before. You can always make money back, but you can't get time back. And I think
time back.
I don't think you should follow that advice exactly. You can make money back, but you also shouldn't go and blow all your money on stupid things.
No, you gotta be smart about it.
If you have goals, like you want to own a house one day, or you want to get engaged to your girlfriend or whatever, you gotta save some. You gotta save some guap, but
save a little bit of bread.
But everybody's situation's different. So if you can afford it and you can go out and see things and travel a little bit, then you should. Like Drew and I have talked extensively about going to Europe this year. And good news, for those of you who are OG listeners and remember our good friend Teddy being on the show, Teddy's big thing is not being a lifer.
Yep.
And for those of you who aren't aware, being a lifer means that you never leave the town that you grew up in. And Drew and I have not been able to get rid of these allegations of being lifers.
Been able to shake the lifer allegations.
Because Teddy's been all over the world, and Drew and I have not. So that makes us lifers. But
we've been all over the country. We've been in Canada, which doesn't really count. But we're still lifers.
The good news is that Teddy did say that if we were to go to Europe, the lifer allegations would be lifted. So
he says that until we go to Europe.
Yeah, and then
there's going to be a new stipulation.
And then it means, we have to shake the hands of 5 world leaders before we're not lifers or something.
We didn't go to some small Italian village that has a population of 10 people.
Yeah.
We're still lifers.
But
we can move out of this town and still be lifers.
Oh, yeah.
It's never going to get dropped. We're just going to be lifers in that new town.
Yeah. But nonetheless, life is meant to be experienced, and there's more to life than 40 hours a week, saving your money all the time, and just playing it safe, I guess.
There's more to life than white picket fences, beagles, and girls.
There's
more to explore out there.
I have my screensaver right now. It's a picture. I'll put it in the podcast for those who can see it. But for those who can't, my screensaver is a picture of a guy sitting at a table with a skeleton. It sounds weird, but it'll make more sense when you see it. And the guy says, what if it doesn't work out? And the skeleton says, what's life without a little bit of risk? And that's my constant reminder that life is about calculated risk. And then my home screen is the dog locked in. I will put that picture in the podcast as well. It's for those of you who are maybe on Instagram, it's the picture of the dog with the boxing gloves on in the garage at night. So the dog is locked.
The dog's dialed in.
Lock the hell in. But it's a great picture. So the screensaver is take a risk. Home screen is lock it in.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like we touched on taking a little bit of risk in our previous episode. Shout out to that previous episode, but where we talked about dancing with that older lady in North Carolina. I mean, that's to a lot of people. That's okay. Yeah, you dance with an old lady and whatever. But I mean, that's a risk to a lot of people. Is putting themselves out there a little bit, and it really paid off. And if you want to know how, check out the previous episode. Yeah. But it was really, really cool. Like
even filming this podcast and putting it out into the cyberspace it's a risk inherently because you're making yourself public and in a sense vulnerable. And I mean, we've gotten comments like the quote, we should start a podcast and make podcast equipment cheaper and that kind of thing. And you're going to run into that no matter what your podcast is. But being able to accept that and still work towards a goal is
those keyboard warriors.
Yeah.
Eating Lay's potato chips off their stomach as they type it.
Risk comes in all different forms, and it's not just putting all your money into something or quitting your job. It could be anything.
Yeah, I think a lot of people associate risk with monetary, and that's not always true. Like a risk could be investment of your time. Like a risk could be getting in a relationship with somebody. What if it doesn't work out? Like you spend all this money and this time on somebody, it doesn't work out. Or
You risk your life
You know
when
what I
you
mean?
drive to work.
Yeah,
That's not what we're talking about, but risk is everywhere.
Risk, yeah. I mean, it's small, it's big. I mean, you take a risk when you climb the stairs each day.
Yeah.
But yeah, what's life without a little bit of risk? It makes life exciting, and it's those moments. Those moments where like, should I not? It's those moments where you probably should, unless it's something diabolical.
Yeah, unless it's something really inherently bad, and then maybe you shouldn't.
But the dancing with the old lady scenario, like, should I? Like, I don't know. What if people think I'm just go do it? Just stick your neck out, go do it.
Yeah, what's the worst case that happens?
Worst case, I mean, maybe
They call the cops on you, I guess.
She gives you a weird look, and you never see her again, and that's that.
That's that. There you go.
Yeah, that's that. What's life without a little risk? And go explore.
Go explore. Take a little bit of risk.
There's more to life than Instagram and women and making money.
And for those of you saying, well, these guys are telling me if I have a girlfriend or a wife, I can't take any risk. You're wrong. Go take a risk with your wife or your girlfriend. You thought you were able to get away. Not that easily.
Nope.
Go take a risk with your girlfriend.
Yeah, go
travel somewhere.
Go to your wife and say, Dean and Drew told me to take a risk, so we're gonna go risk it all on black.
We're gonna use the house as collateral and put it all on black.
Yep. Double your money and then give us a little piece. But if you don't double your money and you lose it all, you never
listen to this podcast.
Nope. We don't know who you are.
Never heard of you.
Who?
You're a nobody. Anywho.
I mean, you're putting your money on the table for black. Why don't we take something off the table?
Off the table. Get it on.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
That was a good segue right there.
Well, I wrote down 2 things as ideas for this week, and I'm going to use the one because I'm really salty about last night's game, and that's the Kansas City Chiefs.
The Chiefs are off the table this week, and I think that the rest of America, if they were listening to this podcast, would go yes, except for the few oddballs around here in Kansas City themselves.
Yeah.
But nobody likes the Chiefs. They just don't.
They're too mainstream.
And because Patrick Mahomes is the golden child of the NFL all of a sudden, which I really don't know why.
No.
He's a good player. Look, I'm not here to say Patrick Mahomes is not a good player.
No, he's a very talented quarterback.
Extremely talented. He's good at what he does. Does he deserve all the hype and all this treatment from the commentators? Oh, God. For those of you who can't see, it's Taylor Swift hugging Caitlin Clark, and this just about sums up why America doesn't like this team. Look, Taylor Swift is good at what she does. Caitlin Clark is good at what she does. But when you get commentators glazing Patrick Mahomes for 3 straight hours, and then they pan up and you see them hugging each other every time the refs are in the bag for the Chiefs, it's salt in the wound, man.
Yeah.
It really is. And look, I'm not a huge football guy. I enjoy a good football game here and there, but it doesn't ruin my day. But when you see these lopsided calls where things should have been one thing, and then all of a sudden they call it for the Chiefs, and you got Tony Romo going, oh my God, Patrick, the way they took a timeout, Patrick Mahomes is so good.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes is so talented at taking timeouts. He's just so talented, and no quarterback is doing what Patrick Mahomes is doing.
And the Eagles and the Chiefs were the Super Bowl last year, were they not?
I'm pretty sure they were.
So who wants to see this again? You've got the Chiefs, who aren't very popular amongst people. They're a good team, but they're not the most popular amongst people. And then you got the Eagles. We're kind of like, it's the Eagles, you know?
Yeah.
People wanted a Super Bowl where you got 2 teams who really could use it, like the Lions and the Bills. Teams that have hungry fan bases who haven't been there. And now all of a sudden you got the Chiefs going for a 3-peat, or as Tony Romo was trying to coin, the Chief-peat or something. The 3-chief or something.
3-chief.
Don't say that.
Romo, get a grip.
Get a grip, dude.
It's the friggin' refs, too. I can't do it with the refs, man.
Yeah, it was the Eagles. So it's safe to say that everybody outside the state of Kansas is probably a Eagles fan in 2 weekends from now. They just, I don't really care for the Eagles. How cool
would it have been for the Bills to be in the Super Bowl?
It would have been awesome.
Josh Allen's such a talented quarterback. I'm not just saying that because I'm in Buffalo. I'm partially saying that because I'm in Buffalo. But Josh Allen's such a talented quarterback. He wants it so bad, and everybody in this NFL is like, give this guy a Super Bowl ring.
Nope.
Seriously.
We're going to rule an incomplete pass a catch. We're not going to give him the first.
Yeah.
I saw memes, too, where it was like Dalton Kincaid tried to catch the ball, couldn't catch it, but like the refs threw the flag just in case he did catch it.
Yeah, Dalton Kincaid definitely should have caught that ball.
There was a flag on the play if he caught it anyways. Yeah, it's bad.
The fact that Josh even got that throw off and kind of got it to Kincaid
Yeah,
is
there you go.
insane. Yeah.
There you go.
Screw the Chiefs. Nobody likes the Chiefs. They're just, it's so aggravating watching Patrick Mahomes throw the football. Like, I want to punch the TV, man.
And honestly, dude, if it wasn't constant Taylor Swift and all these State Farm commercials, I honestly probably wouldn't have a problem with them.
No,
But
and again, Mahomes is a talented quarterback. It's just everybody he brings with
it's
him.
a talented team. They're a good team, and I'm not here to deny that. But when you've got the NFL seemingly in the bag for them, the constant glazing, all the State Farm, you can't get away from this guy. You can't watch a YouTube video without seeing Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, and then the friggin' commentators during other games are, oh, here's a guy that is kind of like Patrick Mahomes. It's like, oh my goodness.
Enough.
You can't escape it.
Enough.
Well, yeah, you know what? If you're a Chiefs fan, you're
Sorry.
probably pretty happy right now. If you're literally anybody else, you're not.
You're probably just gonna make plans for Sunday and just not watch the game.
That's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make plans and not watch the game because screw the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
And that's it.
there you go. Well, that's all we have for this week, I think. But
Yeah.
feel free to find us wherever you find us. Feel free to give us a 5-star review. It always helps.
Yeah, I just want to shout out Mr. C. You know who you are. Thank you for the review. And I know you guys were laughing at our shout outs listening to the podcast. I'm going to shout you out.
Yep. Shout out.
Shout out Mr. C.
Be like Mr. C and leave us a nice review.
Yeah, Mr. C left us an awesome review. If you want to be a legend like Mr. C, among legends like him in our comment section,
Yes.
just go leave a comment. It's so easy, and
free.
you're going to be in the GOAT conversation just like Mr. C. Go do it.
Go do it.
All right, that's it. See ya.
See ya.